How do you feel like today went offensively?
It was up and down a little bit. They did a nice job. They got their hands up at the line of scrimmage a couple times, and, tip balls in this league don't hit the ground. So it was a nice job by them. We had some good creases in the run game. I mean, this is good for us to get out here and just, get some of this work, see this, see these looks. They got a really talented roster on the defensive side of the ball that we went up against today, and it was good for us to kind of just see where we're at.
How did Warren do today going against a pretty extreme?
Good. It's 30 seconds off the grass, so I'll have to go look at the tape and see I'm not staring at the right tackle as I drop back and pass and do all that. But it felt like, for the most part, we did a nice job up front, picked up some stunts that, we don't get a lot of work at. These, some different looks from a defense that we don't practice against every day, so that's fun.
What did you think of how Steve did first time?
Good, yeah. His command is just exactly what what I've been seeing. He and I were on the same page on pretty much everything we did out there today, so that was a positive.
With all of your experience, are you able in the moment to put aside if there is frustration on tip balls and stuff like that? Are you able?
Yeah, it's obviously you want good results, but you're working for the process more than anything at this point, especially being August 4th. So still things we can clean up in the process. There's no question about that, but the results are what they are for a practice, and we got to go out there and learn from them, whether we're good or bad.
Matt, you probably just touched on it about practicing against another team. You've been in the league for a long time and probably have done it both ways. What's the value from your perspective?
Yeah, I think you get you get to see kind of where you're at, get different looks. We're at this point in camp where we practice however many times against our defense, see the same kind of things, little wrinkles here and there over and over, but there was some brand new stuff that we haven't seen a lot of. For us on the offensive side of the ball, looking at what we got on defense, game plan zero for this, so we just go out there and play our rules and try to adapt as we go. So, I think from that perspective, it's good to kind of go out there and, learn get some inventory about what's going on around the league and how we can be better.
In terms of one-day joint practices versus two-day, are there any disadvantages?
I think there's probably less fights, which is good. The second day is when everybody kind of gets, a little charged up and gets going. So I think we see these guys again at some point later on. But they were great to practice against, honestly. Practice hard and physical the same way we do without being, cheap or any of that kind of stuff. So I appreciate that from those guys.
Matthew, I know you guys miss having Higby out there, but having these three tight ends rotating the way that they're able to and doing a lot of different things for you, what is that like, getting to know them a little bit more, and how has it been having them out there?
It's been great. They're a really prepared group. They know their assignments. They go out there, they execute them. They've done a really nice job in camp so far. So excited for those guys to continue to grow and get reps. And for me, whoever's out there at any position, you just go out there, trust them, and try to know them as best you can as far as route running and all those kind of things. But trust those guys, a ton to go out there and do their job.
What did you see out of your backs today? This is so hard when guys aren't really fully hitting. So.
Yeah. There's no such thing as a broken tackle in practice because, every defender thinks they wrapped up perfect and every back thinks they broke the tackle. So, that's what tackle football is all about. But I thought our guys did a nice job in protection. I'll go, take a peek to make sure that's correct, but I felt like they did. And then I thought there were some creases in the run game, which was good. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Okay, guys, we got a lot of good work in, a lot of learning opportunities. It's all right, Gary. You let him have the camera, man. So it was good though. We'll go back. We'll look at the tape. There's a lot of things to learn from. There was a lot of guys in there, especially with our first offense. That it's some of their first reps against some excellent players. It seemed like there was a lot of tip balls for us offensively today that led to those turnovers, and that's something that we'll really look at. There were some good things, and then defensively it sounded like, and from what I saw from afar, that we flew around. We did a good job kind of consistently playing with the energy that we've seen with our practices, but still doing it in a smart way. And, we'll go looking at some of the stuff that we were able to do in the kickoff and the kickoff return. That's interesting to say the least. I don't.
What happened?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Sean, when you say interesting to say the least, can you expand on that?
Yeah, it just feels weird. It doesn't look like anything that has been anything I've been familiar with football. And I know the intent is right. And we'll try to figure it out. And I know everybody that's been involved in that has their intentions in the right place, but it's a very foreign-looking play, and ultimately there's however we feel about it, we've got to be able to adjust and make sure that we adapt, and it can be something that's an advantage to us, and we'll continue to really put our heads together with Chase and Chili Davis and with John Stryker and figure out what's the best way to execute that phase so that it can be beneficial for our team. But I think we also need to probably have some fluidity with it if there are adjustments as we go. But when you see it against some other teams, it's one thing to work it against each other, but when you see it against some other teams, there'll be a lot that we can really dive into with the film. That's what I mean by interesting.
When you talk about when you think about your practice scheduling, how have you accounted for the kickoff? Have you added more reps to that, and how much special?
Yeah, I mean, you allocate certain things in terms of the timing to it. This was a good opportunity to really get familiar with it. In terms of just seeing it against another opponent in a little bit more of a controlled setting. But there's a lot of work to be done. I think that'll, continue on as we get closer and closer to the opener. I don't believe that the preseason is going to give us an indication of what this play looks like because I think a lot of teams that have some schematic things, they're not going to show it, just like we wouldn't as well.
You obviously are going to have to go back and watch the tape, but Warren on the right side got a lot of different looks from a couple of high caliber edge rushers today. How did you think he did today, and what would you like to see next?
Yeah, I think you just said it. You're watching 22 guys. My eyes are usually on the defense in terms of, what's the play called, what is the point of attack. And so I thought he did some good things when he was at the point of attack. But anytime you go against premier players like that, and then Bud Dupree and Thule are also rotating on their edges, they got 4 guys that are legit players. So I think that's excellent. I think Warren is continuing to mature. But I'll go back and look at it. But there were some good things, Jordan, and then there'll be some things that when I'm just isolating on him, when you have a chance to slow it down, my eyes are sometimes in some different places.
Sean, good to see you.
Good to see you.
A couple of names out on the O-line. What did you
Couple,
see from,
huh? Sure. There's a lot more than a couple.
Be honest. What did you see from the guys that are out there?
I think they're doing as well as they can. There's a lot of learning right now, and I think anytime that you go against a front like this, it's a great challenge, and there's no excuses. We might not have our guys throughout the course of the season. We were able to stay relatively healthy last year, and then we saw what it looked like the year before. That's not going to be an excuse for us. We've got to do a good job as coaches. The players have to accelerate their learning curve, and then we've got to be able to figure out what does that look like if we need to alter some of the things that maybe we anticipated being our identity, and that's part of my job as a coach and something that I'm excited about the challenge with our other coaches. And I think there was some good things and then some things that we absolutely can improve upon.
On the opposite side, between Ernest, Kobe, your new guys, Jared, Braden, there feels like there's an excitement from what this D can bring to the table. Obviously, it's early, but is the excitement level for this defense?
It's that. I mean, they've got a great energy that they play with, and I love the effort, really the fundamentals in terms of killing blocks, pursuing to the football, the way that we're working our approach and our tackling, the way that we're attacking at the football. We had too many turnovers, way too many offensively today, and we've really, for the most part, taken pretty good care of the football, and a large portion of them were as a result of tip balls. And so it's a good reminder. I love what we've seen from our defense. Want to continue to get our hands on balls as well, and I think it was a pretty good day for us defensively from my understanding.
Couple more, guys.
Because it's the first week in August, and if you compare it to years past, what are you looking for from this team at this point, and are you achieving?
Yeah, I think consistent improvement. And some of that you have to have some patience isn't something that I'm very familiar with, as you know. But I think there's an understanding of let's keep building, especially if you've got some guys that are getting reps for the first time based on some people that we do have out. And so what I think is helpful is, no season is ever the same, but there are different experiences you can draw on to say, I can remember before the 21 season we practiced against the Raiders, we had a really tough first day of practice. We turned the ball over a bunch. The guys collectively responded the right way, and, we were fairly decent on offense that year. But these provide opportunities to learn, to test things. We don't approach it like a game plan, so we're running a lot of base things. Really, I thought it was excellent to be able to see the differences in the schematics that we're giving each other to be able to really ultimately prepare for the season. So what I'm interested in is guys improving every single day, and I think a lot of guys have done that. Sometimes it's been a little bit halted with certain position groups because of the injuries that we've sustained. But again, that's not going to be an excuse for me. Our job is to be able to get this roster ready to go, and we're going to continue to focus on that. But make no mistake about it, some of the things I saw, particularly offensively, got way higher standards, than what we looked like today consistently down in and down out.
Do you know what happened to Braden Fisk?
Yeah, he had a really. This is going to make him. He is one of the toughest guys ever, but he had basically a blister that was the size of his foot, from my understanding. Reggie shows me, he's like, he's got a blister. I go, he's out for a thumb blister? But no, it was his whole foot. So we wanted to be smart with him because this guy will go, but then it ends up leading to probably being out for longer. And I know you like that right there. So that was what he had today.
Sean, you thought about
Last one, guys.
with the new rules and the kickoff, PFT comment.
Yeah, I know. Hey, good to see you.
Have you thought about with the new XFL kickoff bringing in maybe like a former XFL kicker that might be able to give the boys a look out there?
I think we can try to simulate those things with our kickers. There's a couple little nuances that are different than the XFL in terms of when the play starts. But what'd you think of how it looked today out at practice?
I thought it looked good, but I just think someone that like camp experience in the XFL could give you some good insight into strategy.
What kind of guys? Which ones in particular?
Let me look around and see if I know any.
Okay, give me those names after this.
It's actually me.
Okay. You look ready to roll. Good to see you, man.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean.
All right.